Guys, what's going on? Zach Evanish here, ZachStrength.com. Couple things on my mind. Today is the beginning of the 4th week of outdoor training for us here in New Jersey. And so we still have new kids coming in, kids that used to train with us, whether it was training with us before the COVID lockdown or years before. And now they're coming back. Situation's different. So something I think about on Twitter. I utilize Twitter a lot of good coaches communicating, and what I'm really learning is we're just communicating to each other. I don't really think the people who are supposed to be listening to us or learning from us are on there. So when you complain about coaches, sport coaches doing something wrong, wrong technique, wrong programming, wrong everything, they're not listening. They're not really paying attention to you. For an example, today we had kids come in. They did a beach workout with football. They did 100 burpees. They did like 100 lunge jumps. They did a 5-minute squat, wall sit. I can't remember what else they did, like 100, some ab exercises. And I think to myself, and I'm like, wow, I train upperclassmen who struggle to do 10 push-ups. How good do you think those 100 burpees looked like? Okay? They probably, on the kinder scale, looked like horse crap, all right? So that's number one. So number two, if you're ranting on Twitter and then everybody's retweeting you, it doesn't help. You got to get in front of these coaches. You got to get in front of the parents. And then as a independent strength coach, if you're like me in the private sector, then you got to work around all this crap. That's just the reality of it. I've been battling it since day one when I started in 2002, really getting after it full time. Now, I'm also full time in a high school. And I'm going to tell you guys, it's still not easy to get coaches to really listen to you. You still got to build trust with the coaches. You got to build trust with administration. You got to build trust with the kids. If you're lucky, you'll have a great situation. I'm in a pretty great situation. But then the private sector, we're still battling things. That's just going to be the way it is. So now I want to talk about this kind of the details, the finer details, and a little bit of return to play kind of deal. So we had a lineman football player come in today. I think the heavier kids are going to struggle with this return to play, return to practice, return to training, whatever you want to call it. They're going to struggle the most. The relative body strength is going to be low. Their conditioning is going to be poor. They haven't trained since the winter time. Now it's the summertime. We're hitting 90-degree temperatures. So we've got a lot of things stacked against us. Then there's little details that, I hate to do this, great strength coaches know and sport coaches don't know. So today, while, the kids are squatting, I could say things like, hey, John Smith, put your feet 1 inch wider, lift the kettlebell up 1 inch higher. Those details matter. Or when we're benching, I notice that the one wrist is bent back. We got to go lighter. We got to slow it down. We got to reset the grip and demonstrate and teach how to have a strong wrist, a straight wrist. Most kids are going to say, oh, I broke my wrist. I have back problems. They always got a story behind it. The unfortunate truth is nobody is identifying these as weak points. Your arms are shaking like crazy. Well, how much back, lat work, upper back, posterior work are you doing? So you see somebody shaking like crazy, weak lats, weak triceps, lacking of stability. That athlete should not be going crazy on the bench press. In fact, don't even have that kid bench. Have that kid work unilateral stuff. Dumbbells, body weight, kettlebells, unilateral band work, and build up the support structure, right? How strong can the house be with a bad foundation, with a poor foundation, with, a little bit of foundation here, a little bit of foundation there? These details make the big differences. So I'm having a group training at my gym, and there's a lot of individual needs being addressed. You got new kids who are struggling. You got kids who don't want to be at 60 to 70%. So you have to push them because they're physically ready for it. They're mentally ready for it. They don't want to be waiting for the kids that are out of shape. And so even though this return to play is guiding you at, hey, first week, 50 to 60%, second week, 70%, third week, 80%, fourth week, maybe you could hit 90%. Then when you're about 5, maybe 6 weeks in, you could start working harder. You could get that intensity up there. You're not going to really need any conditioning. We're doing a lot of cluster work, a lot of kind of lower rep work. We're certainly not doing 100 burpees per workout, but we are utilizing things like 5 sets of 3, 8 sets of 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We haven't even really done any 5 by 5. We're doing a lot of iso holds, a lot of slow eccentrics, teaching them, hey, that 44-pound kettlebell might feel easy for you. Do a 5-count eccentric, give it a 2-count pause in the bottom, then explode up. Make the 44 feel like 88 pounds. So we need to, reacquaint them with training technique. We need to kind of rebuild their infrastructure. So you're going to need those isometrics, those slow eccentrics. If you're doing sprint work, don't start off blasting into a sprint. Maybe have them do some skipping, and then they go into a sprint. They walk a little bit, then they go into a sprint. And in the beginning, the sprints are really going to be more like a tempo run with an easy coast into an easy deceleration. I mean, we're not starting from scratch. We're almost starting from negative scratch, because not only have they missed the training, they've missed working around people. And so they're getting reacquainted even with their social skills. It's pretty wild. So coaches, great strength coaches, sport performance coaches, as I like to call us, pay attention to the details. That wrist is bending, but the other wrist is straight. Don't let the kid keep on benching. We need to strengthen the wrist. We need to strengthen the grip. Arms are shaking like crazy. We've got no strength in the lats, no strength in the upper back. We can't, get any torque on that barbell. Mobility is going to be pretty poor, so get ready to utilize a lot of band work. Band pull aparts, band dislocators, one-arm triceps, face pulls, one-arm rowing. All of these things, we're going to be rebuilding the beast. But special shout out to the coaches who are doing these crazy workouts with the kids. It's a shame. It always breaks my heart, because it's like, man, there's upperclassmen who can't do 10 good push-ups. These kids don't need 100 burpees, all right? They need some sled drags, some carries, some calisthenics, and band work. They don't need conditioning. Conditioning doesn't build strength. Strength will build the conditioning. So you got to be smart. And sport coaches, special shout out to you who actually do reach out to the qualified strength coaches and say, hey, help me here. Give me the support we need. And I'm going to tell you, there's that great quote out there. It's like, any idiot can make somebody tired, through 200 burpees or 200 jumping jacks. But it takes a real coach to build performance. So we are not after getting athletes tired. In fact, my goal and my theme is you're done before you're done. I want you out of the weight room with at least 10% in the tank. So the next day when you're not training with us, you're doing some squats and lunges on your own. You're doing some push-ups. You're out doing some movement prep. You're doing some tempo runs. You're doing some work on your own. So these kids learn independence. They learn, how to train without somebody hovering over them, which is usually a coach or a father or parent figure. And so a lot of little details. These details are the difference between good and great. And I keep an eye on all that stuff. When a kid walks in, I'm looking at posture. I'm looking at feet and ankles. I know it's crazy. When we go out to eat and I'm waiting online, I'm also doing it. I'm looking at people's feet and I'm thinking to myself, well, that guy's duck-footed. He probably doesn't have a good 100-meter. And look at that posture. Forget it. I'd be doing face pulls and band pull parts till the cows come home. That's how you got to think as a great strength coach. It never shuts off. Call me crazy, but guess what? Normal people don't succeed. Crazy people do. ZachStrength.com. And at the time of this video, 31-year training anniversary sale going on at ZachEvanesh.com. 31% off. I started training in June of 1989. So June of every year is very special to me. Training with those spin lock barbells, reading Arnold's Encyclopedia, and working out on the flimsy Weider weight bench. Talk to you. I'm out.